Welcome everyone, I am Tock Custom, and on this video we're going to be checking out and unboxing the brand new Brother AirFlow 3000 serger. This is an overlock machine that threads itself. So we're gonna get this out of the box and see how to thread it and how it works as a normal overlock machine. All right, so here's the box it came in when it came in the mail, and let's see what's all in here. Now on the top part, it looks like every single accessory, including the power and foot pedal, are in this top styrofoam part, and then this is just the machine here. Now here's everything that was in the box. We've got our machine, our thread stand, documentation. This is both the foot pedal and the power supply built into one. This is the little tackle box of tools and presser feet, and then this little thing I believe is for catching thread trimmings in your serging. So, oh, and there's the little dust cover too. So here is the new machine next to my Brother 1034D serger. This is a great entry-level overlock machine. I use this for pretty much every project. But just size-wise, I wanted to show that this thing is just slightly bigger, so it's gonna look really good and not take up much space in your workshop. Now I've got the machine where I keep my serger, and I've already plugged it in and put the presser foot down below my table. So all we have to do now is turn it on, and the light should turn on here. So the only thing I took out of the box is just our thread stand. So I'm gonna put this where it goes in the back, and this will hold our threads just like that. Now, like most other sewing machines and sergers, there's a bunch of numbers throughout the machine that are gonna help us figure out how to thread this. So the way we do the thread tree is we're gonna go behind and through, and then there's a little notch on the bottom, so it's going to kind of spiral. We're going to go under that and then through the front where it says 2. So that is how we thread the tree. And now there's a little metal prong where it says 3 right here, so we're just going to go under that. Forgive my hands if they're blocking. Then we're going to go right down this channel past the tension wheel where it says 4. Now, as we come down channel 4 here, we need to reach on the right side of the machine, and we're going to open up this area. Now, in most machines, this is a bunch of gears and cogs and levers, but on this machine, there's just 2 little channels which are going to shoot the thread with air through the machine and hopefully thread the whole thing. So also, as you open this up, there is a little diagram that tells you exactly all the steps you need to do to get this to thread properly, so I'm going to be using this to help me. Now the first thing it wants us to do is to raise our presser foot. So this lever right here, if we lift this up, it's gonna raise the presser foot over here, okay? So we're gonna put that in the up position. Then step 2 is to lower this lever here, and there's a little symbol that looks like thread going through a little cylinder. So that, I think, is the threading position. Then it tells us to use the main knob here to put into position and get the needles as high as they go, and it just clicked into place, which is great. Okay, so now it wants us to take our blue thread and put it in this right channel here that says L. I believe that means lower looper thread. So I'm gonna just kind of set that there, and then it wants us to hit this button. Oh, okay. So it just kind of sucked it in there. Now, there's a little compartment. If I slide this to the right and then down, I can see some of the mechanics in here. I want to see if this thread is gonna pop out here. So if I hold this button, the thread is tight, but it's not pulling through. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of slack and see if that helps. Okay, good, so that's tight. Now I wanna look down here and see if I can see a blue thread pop out anywhere. I'm just gonna keep giving it slack. Oh, here it is, okay, sweet. So it just kind of spit out right here. All right, now I'm gonna do this one more time and just kind of zoom in. There it is, okay. Hopefully that was a little bit more visible there. All right, so the thread popped out here just like this. I haven't done anything with it yet. And it's telling me to put it under the presser foot and pull it out the back. So the presser foot should already be in the up position. So I'm just gonna kind of lift it and put it under the foot, but behind the blade that trims your fabric. And I'm gonna pull it to the left. I wanna make sure this goes behind that little pin where it's naturally wanting to lay flat like that. And then it says just pull it out the back. So that one should be threaded. Now, if that is in there correctly, I should be doing the upper looper thread now. So we're gonna do the same thing up top here. Behind the thread tree, spiral it around, out the 2, and then we're just gonna do the same thing where I go down this tab here, then down the channel. All right, now the instructions aren't telling me to change any settings at all, so I'm just gonna try to do the same thing where I put the red thread in here and press the button. Okay, perfect, so that's tight. And I'm guessing I need to give this a bunch of slack here as well. So I tried to zoom in here so hopefully we can see the red thread shoot out somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it came out right behind this pin right here. And that should be plenty for me to grab it. Wow, that's so nice. Okay, so this says the same thing. It says to just pass this under the presser foot. Again, I'm gonna go behind the blade. And I'm just gonna pull it to the left and then down and out the back like that. On my other machine, I typically will lower the presser foot to keep the threads kind of in the same line. All right, so hopefully you can see the threads back here and they're just pulled out the back together. All right, so that is all done. Now I'm gonna put this back into place here, and then I just figured out that I can't actually close this. If this lever is in the down position, that's for threading. It won't let us close this, which is good. So we're gonna snap that back up into serging mode, and then this will let us close. All right, so we've got both of our looper threads threaded, which that was really easy. Sometimes that can take me like 10 or 20 minutes if I just keep making mistakes, but that was so fast to do it with this mechanic right here. So now we're gonna move on to our needle threads. All right, now it's telling me to do thread number 1 or our left needle next. So we're going to do the thread tree, go under this pin, down this channel here. So this goes down and behind this prong, then we're gonna go up where it says 5 and around the uptake and then down right here. I'm gonna lower the tension a little bit while I'm threading this just so it slides a little bit more nicely. All right, so as I'm coming down this channel here, we're gonna go behind this pin. So there's an opening on the right. I can kind of loop that like that, and that should sit like that. Now, this machine has an automatic needle threader, which I don't think any of my other overlock machines have ever had that. So I'm gonna try to use this. There is a left and right switch here. Left, I believe, will adjust the threader to do the left needle. So I'm going to put our thread in this little metal groove right here, and then up over this fin that says 7. Then we're gonna lower this all the way down. Oh! It did work. Okay, so it made a big loop in the back. It took me a couple attempts, but it did work. So now I can pull this loop from the back, and now we've got that. Make sure your presser foot is down while you're doing this. Now I'm just going to raise the foot, so now it's going down and out the back. I'm gonna lower the foot again, and we are going to do the next needle. Down the channel, we're gonna go around where it says 4, and this goes in the same channel as the other one here. So we're going where it says 5, down here behind this pin again, and then when I get here, we can just switch the needle threader to the right, then hopefully do the same thing. Oh good, that worked too. Wow, I've never seen an overlock machine with an automatic needle threader. Okay, so it makes a big loop in the back, and I'm gonna grab that, pull it through. So the needles are threaded correctly. You want to make sure that the thread is going through the front of the eye and out the back. So these are correct. If yours are not, make sure that is fixed. Now I'm going to raise the foot like that, and then we're going to pull this out the back just like the yellow thread, and then hopefully we can take all 4 of our threads, which should be loose if your foot is up. So I can kind of pull these and make some slack, and then we're going to lower the foot and pull these out the back. Now, at this point, like any other serger, I should be able to just put my foot down and it should make a nice thread chain in the back here. So I'm not even gonna put any fabric in this. We're just gonna hold these threads in the back and put our foot down very slowly and see if this works. Oh my God, it worked on the first try. That's amazing. Okay, so this is a typical overlock thread chain. That's exactly what you want to see if you don't have any fabric in there. So let's put some fabric in here and see how it works. All right, I've just got some scrap purple Casa bridal fabric here from a Disney dress I made. And let's say we want to overlock the selvage so that we could use that for some reason. So I'm gonna just feed this in, and I want it to actually cut along the dotted line on the thread here. So I'm gonna line that up with the blade. We're gonna lower the foot and then just see if this works. Now, if you don't typically use sergers, you always want to make sure you've got about 4 inches of a thread chain, and we're going to cut it like that. You always want to make sure you've got a nice length in the back here so that your machine doesn't get unthreaded. So I just want to take a peek at what this just did. Now, we've got multicolored threads here, but that looks really clean. I'm really quite happy with that. Oh, some of my threads, I lowered the tensions so it's not super tight. Let me try that one more time. All right, so I just put all my tension wheels to about 4.5. We'll see if this is any different. Also, if you're not used to overlocking, this machine is designed to not only loop thread over your edges so it doesn't fray, but it also cuts that so it is nice and clean. Now, if we take a look at our new surged seam right here, this looks much cleaner now that we've got proper tension all the way across. So again, if you're new to this, all these looped threads on this edge are going to keep anything from fraying, and the inside of your garments or projects are going to look really clean. All right, so this machine is threaded, which is awesome. And before I end, I just wanted to point out there's a bunch of different knobs and levers throughout the machine, and I want to just briefly mention what they do and what they're for. And before I forget, I truly want to say thank you to Blaine and the folks over at Sewing Machines Plus for lending me this machine to do a review. I'm very excited about using this and checking it out. I often want to change the thread colors in the back of my machine for different projects, but I often don't change it because it's such a pain in the ass to change threads. But this is so easy that I will probably do it a lot now. The first thing I'll mention is the hand wheel. This is on pretty much every sewing machine. This just moves the needles up and down. Always want to make sure that you're turning that towards you. Never turn it that way. You always want to turn it towards you. As one other look from the right, this is the handle, how we open our chamber here to thread the machines. Again, this lever here will raise and lower the presser foot. I could have put this on before, but I forgot. This is the trim traps. So this, I believe, should just kind of snap. Yeah, just like that. So as you're serging fabric, anything it cuts off will fall into here, and you can dump it out later. Okay, underneath the bed, there is the knife control. So on the left, it shows it cutting through fabric. On the right, it just says fabric. So if you have this on the right, it won't actually trim the fabric. This only really works well if you're serging on a raw edge right on the edge. So if I put this right up on that edge like that, it will overlock those edges, but it's not going to trim anything off. So like when I get to here, it should just push this to the left. Okay, so there's 3 more knobs. I'm just going to mention what they do. This is your stitch length knob. So by default, it's on 3 or 3 millimeters. We can go up to 4 or down to 2 or 1.5. I like mine at about 3. That's a good safe speed for me. All right, so this knob here under the presser foot is the stitch width knob. By default, it's at 5 or 5 millimeters, even though I think it's a little bit smaller than that. It goes all the way up to 7.5 millimeters wide. So this was at 7.5 millimeters, which that's pretty wide, and sometimes it can cause the fabric to kind of ruffle or pucker a little bit. And this was what it looked like when it was at 5 right here. This is usually pretty straight and safe, but you can play around with that. Now the smaller knob in front of our main wheel is what's called the differential feed. Now I'm not going to do a full demo on this, but simply put, if you lower this, it's going to pull the fabric tighter under the presser foot, which is good for delicate fabrics if it's puckering. Otherwise it can kind of make this like wavy look, which is a cool effect. If you go above 1.0 up to 2, it's going to make the fabric more loose, and it's going to smash the fabric together, and you're going to get this kind of gathered or almost mini pleated look on your fabric, which is cool for like Renaissance clothes. Again, I'm not going to do a full demo, but that is what that does. It's worth playing around with, but this is cool for different textures. Now, the last thing to mention is the knob at the top. This is the presser foot pressure wheel. I've never had to actually adjust this, but if you turn it to the right, it will give you more pressure, and if you turn it to the left, you will give it less pressure. Again, I've always just kept mine right in the middle, but that is what that's for. Oh, I forgot to mention that these are the thread tension wheels. The higher the number, the more tension there is on each thread. I always keep mine between 4 and 5, which is known as automatic. Different thicknesses of fabrics can give you different results. So if you're noticing your threads are too tight or puckering or it's loose or the threads look weird, you can kind of mess with these until it looks appropriate, but I've always had good results right there. So that is it for the setup and threading of the Brother AirFlow 3000. I knew this was going to be easy, but it was even easier than I was expecting. Being able to air thread the loopers and having needle threaders on the needles was terrific. Another big thank you to the folks at Sewing Machine Plus for lending me this machine, and huge thank you to Brother Sewing for supporting this channel so I can make videos with you guys. If you want to check this machine out, there will be links in the description. If you have any questions about this, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.